So you're playing how many dudes and are struggling to clear the tier 2 or 3 bosses. This build will make both of them a joke. Starting with our dudes, we will be looking to get the Trooper, Bard, Ghost, Agent, and Knight dudes. The Trooper will be our DPS and healing. I know it's not a healing unit, but we'll get to that shortly. The Knight dude is the tank and helps to reduce incoming damage. The Ghost dude's our primary healer early in the run, and he also helps with damage mitigation. The Agent and Bard dudes are support dudes, just there to help buff the rest of our team. The real magic comes with the relics. To make this a little easier to follow, let's break down the best relics by their purpose. Starting with survivability, we have the False Fangs, which give 5% lifesteal to every dude. This means that the more damage you do, the more healing you'll recover. Ring of Shielding. This allows for 25% of overhealing to become temporary health, which gives dudes the ability to survive those initial high damage hits that come from the stronger enemies. This can help prevent being one-hit KO'd. The Phantasmal Crystal allows the Ghost dude to give 10% evasion and 5% lifesteal to his phase shift targets. Bulletproof Suit. This allows the Agent to not only gain 20% toughness for himself, but it also gives a 50% chance for him to dash to a dude that receives fatal damage, and then fully heal him. The Heating Pad gives all dudes 5% lifesteal. Memento Mori increases all healing received by 10%. The Ritual Dagger grants 2% regeneration to all dudes. Ectoplasm Vial allows the Ghost dude to grant temporary health when phase shifting, further increasing your one-hit KO resistance. The Haunted Mirror allows the Ghost dude to grant 2% regen for his phase shift targets for 5 seconds. This can stack 3 times. Socialism. The Wielder grants 25% of their maximum health as temporary health to a random injured dude. This works extremely well with the Knight, who's going to have a massive health pool by the end of the game. Sewing Kit gives a 15% chance to heal any damage taken that was not fatal. So this just means that blatantly across the board, if you take damage at any time that doesn't kill you, you have a 15% chance to just immediately heal it back up again. The absolute key for survivability is the medical license. Every 100 damage dealt by the wielder has him heal another injured dude for 15. While 15 sounds extremely low for healing when dudes have hundreds of health, the difference comes from how the damage scales. The Trooper dude carrying his medical license will be healing for literal millions by the endgame, outpacing damage done by virtually any threat well into the 100s. Damage mitigation. These relics are here to help reduce incoming damage, pass it along to another healthier dude, or block or dodge it completely. The Golden Glove gives 5% chance to evade any incoming damage for all dudes. The Medical Nanites give 5% toughness and 1% regen to all your dudes. The Force Field will give you 30% deflection when any dude takes damage that brings his health below 40%. Sequined Vest gives 5% evasion to all dudes. The Bass Drum allows the Bard dude's 4-chord song to now grant 2% evasion per stack. Earpiece. The Agent grants his asset 5% evasion for 3 seconds, and that can stack up to 3 times. The Parry Buckler gives 5% chance to block for every dude. False Face gives 20% evasion for 8 seconds at the start of a fight for every dude. Liquid Courage gives 10% toughness for every dude. Bullet Time. When a dude gets thrown, they have a 50% chance to get 30% evasion for 2 seconds. The Shield Belt gives 15% deflection for every dude. The Trench Coat gives 15% toughness for all dudes, but it drops by 1% every second down to 5%, which means that after the timers run out, it still gives a blanket 5% toughness to every dude. And now finally, the key relics. These are the relics you're going to be looking for from the start of the run. These relics can make or break your run. For the Trooper dude, the biggest one is the medical license. You'll be grabbing every relic for them along the way, and most will be to push his DPS through the roof. The higher his DPS gets, the better his healing becomes until he eventually outheals virtually any other dude. For damage relics for him, we're looking for the Captain's Hat, which gives a blanket 30% attack power to whichever dude is on the top of your roster, the first slot. Spray and Pray gives a 10% chance for extra orbital strikes when he lands a crit hit. Hair Trigger gives 30% chance to fire a laser bolt that does 100% of its attack damage, and it has a 50% chance to strike a second target. Target Painter. 30% of all damage dealt by the Trooper gets applied to the next orbital strike. Blaze of Glory. Each orbital strike grants 3 laser grenades that fire at random enemies, dealing 50% attack damage. For the Ghost dude, who's our healer and our extra damage mitigation, we're going to be looking for the Phantasmal Crystal. Phase Shift now grants 10% evasion and 5% life steal for his target dudes. The Ectoplasm Vial gives temporary health equal to 100% of the attack power to target dudes, so the higher your Ghost dude's attack power, the more temporary health is given. Haunted Mirror gives 2% regeneration to phase shift targets. For the Knight dude, we're only looking for 2 specific relics here for this. The Belted Greaves, which give 10% toughness for his knights, and then 1% toughness to every dude for every knight you have, up to 10%. So that means every dude gets a blanket 10% if you have 10 knights, and your knights get 10% toughness on top of that. And then, add on the Bagpipes, which grant another 10% toughness for your knights. They'll be basically rocking like 40, 50, 60, 70% toughness, reducing damage down to like 30% that he takes. So he significantly lowers incoming damage, to the point of where you can basically survive almost any attack. For the setup, you'll want your trooper dudes at the top of your roster for the 30% attack power increase from Captain Sat, and you'll want your knight dudes to be in the last slot to get the 30% HP boost from Caboose. The trooper dudes are our main DPS, unless you're going to want to focus on their damage output. We're going to look for things that increase their attack power, their attack speed, their cleave chance, crit chance, and their crit damage. The knight dudes are our tanks and damage mitigation, so we're going to be looking to maximize their HP and their toughness. The ghost dudes will be your early game healers, and then later help with healing and, of course, extra damage mitigation. So for them, we're going to be looking to increase their attack power, their attack speed, and their crit chance. And finally, the bard and agent dudes. These guys I'm not going to go heavily into detail on, as they are both here basically just to buff your team, but the bard dudes increase your attack speed, your attack power, and then they also give some extra movement speed and evasion. And the agent dude, with his bulletproof suit, has a 50% chance to heal a dude that receives fatal damage, which is massive. And then he also grants buffs to his assets, like deflection, evasion, and so on and so forth. He also does fairly decent damage on his own, and he can really take advantage of the relics that have distance requirements, since he dashes everywhere. If you found this guide useful, I would ask that you consider subscribing, and then leave a like and a comment down below for me. Take care, everyone, and thank you for watching.